Should be good now, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. I'll go around the table, ask for you to designate your presence verbally. Dennis O'Connor.
Present.
Deep Bassi.
Present.
Paul Sedra.
Present.
Dan Kennedy.
Present.
And I, the Chair, John Sapoulos, am present as well. In attendance also is our clerk, Courtney Hoyt-Fox, our Secretary Treasurer, Ben Banks, and our county planning staff person, Zach Prince. So welcome to the virtual meeting of the Planning Development Advisory Committee meeting of it's not February, of April the 13th. And we have two meetings tonight, one being the committee adjustment, where we'll be reviewing, rendering a decision on one minor variance. The second meeting is that we act as advisory committee, and we will be providing comments to the county with respect to a one lot line adjustment and one severance application. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in a meeting by electronic means, you're consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. So let's start. Lynn, do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No, we do not.
Any of you gentlemen have any disclosures of pecuniary interest? No, I see nods, nays. Thank you. Okay, let's move into approval of the minutes of March the 9th, 2021. May I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Dennis, second by Dan. Let's go around the table for in favor or not in favor. Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
Paul?
Favor.
Dan?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, next we move to the application for minor variance under Section 45 Planning Act. The purpose of the hearing is to provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to the minor variance application before us today. Township requests that you notify the secretary of the committee by email at lbanks@puslinch.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding this application. The format of the hearing is as follows. Staff will present information reports, specifically outline the purpose of the application, summarizing compliance with township's notification and submission requirements, and outlining staff comments, agency comments, public comments of those who could not attend. Then we'll ask the applicant to present the purpose and details of application and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can ask for clarification, questions, or express their views on a proposal, and we'll give you a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. Following this, the members of the committee can obtain clarification, ask questions. Then the item will be brought into the committee, and the committee will render a decision, and the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. So let's get into the first one. It's 6A, minor application D13 BOR Jeffrey Bourne and Vicky Dixon, 4614 concession 11, part lawn 15, concession 10, Township Puslinch, requesting relief for zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 416 MDS1, new non-farm uses to permit a reduced MD1 separation from a proposed new lot, future severance, to be 47.9 meters to an existing barn and 54.4 meters to part of a barn that contains 5 stalls for 5 Welsh ponies instead of 81 meters as required. There's a couple of footnotes that have occurred since this agenda was published. It should be noted that section 34 of the MDS guidelines states when there are more than 4 lots, it is a type B use, which is double the setback. This calculation should be based on the design capacity of the barn. The reduction will be from the required 162 meters instead of 81 meters. Setback for relief of 107 meters to permit a reduced setback of 47 meters. The setback and associated relief are doubled. Zachary Prince, a senior planner for the county, will be able to provide clarity in the setbacks and required relief as we move through the application. If there are any questions. We will also include a decision for relief of the lot frontage of the proposed parcel to be 109 meters instead of 121 meters as required. And this will, of course, be subject to the sevens going ahead. Okay, we'll ask Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff, and then public comments and recommendations?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and no comments were received. And Mr. Chair, would you like me to just reread the notes that you just provided to everyone?
Yes, please. This will be official.
It should be noted that section 34 of the MDS guidelines states that when there are more than 4 lots, it is a type B use, which is double the setback. The calculation should be based on the design capacity of the barn. The reduction would be from the required 162 meters instead of 81 meters setback for a relief of 107.2 meters to permit a reduced setback of 47.9 meters and 54.8 meters. The setback required and associated relief are doubled. Zachary Prince, who is the senior planner for the County of Wellington, will be able to provide clarity on the setbacks and required relief as we move through the application if there are any questions. It should be noted also that we will be including in the decision relief for the lot frontage of the proposed retained parcel to be 109 meters instead of 120 meters as required by the zoning bylaw.
Okay, great, thank you. Would the Clerk Courtney Hoyt-Fox please have the owner or applicant join the panel to present their application?
Mr. Chair, I'm bringing Ms. Nancy Shoemaker over now, and I do have 2 sketches that have been submitted. One shows the proposed lot and the other one, I believe, shows the specified setback. So if you just want to let me know if you'd like to see both, I can place both on the screen.
Yeah, could you place both of them on the screen? Okay, and Nancy, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So go ahead, Nancy.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I apologize for the confusion on this application. The owners were working with the county on the MDS separation. So initially, we felt that we were seeking relief for much less than what it ends up because of the 4 lots. But the owner would like to sever up part of this property. It's the only part that really we can address at this time because the more westerly portion of the property is constrained by natural heritage features. So we focused on this area. The owners house 4 ponies in this barn, and they're only generally in the barn when the vet arrives or in the winter. Most of the time they're out in the back part of the property. And we also considered the fact that there are at least 2 existing residential dwellings that are in similar proximity as this one, as the proposed new lot would be. And so we're hoping that the committee could support this minor variance for the MDS, as well the minor variance for the lot frontage on the retained parcel, if that is supported if a consent is supported in the future. I think Zach's report has talked about the 4 tests, and he's suggesting even with this greater setback, the application would meet the 4 tests of a minor variance. I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Okay, so let's give the public the opportunity. Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, there are not.
Okay, and Courtney, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak to this item?
Mr. Chair, we do have individuals in the audience. So if I could stop my screen share for a moment, I can just see if anyone's raised their hands.
Sure.
So if the attendees could please use the raise your hand feature if you have a comment to make on this application. Mr. Chair, I don't see anyone raising their hands.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. So we'll go around the table. So before we start, I'll ask our county planner, Zach Prince, if you can add any more information with respect to your report.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just provide a bit more detail as to why we haven't written it as a not support report. So we haven't, the way we've written the report is that we've left it up to the committee to decide if they're satisfied with this application. So our thought is that because it's a reduction from the owner's property, it's the owner that's constraining their own livestock operations. And because of that, it's a little bit different than if it was a different farm. Now it is limiting other farms' potentials as well too, but there are, to my knowledge, there are no real other farms in the area. So anyways, that was the one point. And the second point is if they did want to expand that livestock facility, they are quite constrained with the existing houses as well too. So they would have to seek relief from these existing houses with or without this new lot, or likely a new barn would have to be built at the back of the property. So just want to clarify though, that was kind of our thinking going into this report. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, so Dennis, free to ask either our county planner or the applicant.
Yep. Okay, I just wonder, Nancy, you said there's two properties that have a similar constraint. Does Zach or Nancy have what those differences are at the MDS, or how close are they? Where are they?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that one of the plans that was on the screen previously showed the existing two houses. So on Maltby Road East, there are actually four houses that I would say back into this property. The Severance, so depending on where the house is put on this new lot, and if it's closer to Concession Road 11, that house could well be further away from where the horses or the ponies are stabled in this barn than the houses on Maltby Road East.
Okay, so you're just referring to this existing property that
Yes.
properties are.
Yes.
Okay, and okay, so then basically this operation is based on 5 stalls and the 162, and that's hitting the maximum. I think Zach and I discussed that. So I'm okay with this at this point in time.
Okay, let's go to Deep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is it would the seller not, the owner, I guess, not consider moving the barn back a little bit? Is it possible? Is it because the cost is restraints?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we did talk about this when we started the discussion on the property. The cost to build a new barn further back for these 5 ponies is exorbitant, and the owners didn't feel they could really justify it because the ponies, for the most part, are not in the barn. They're only there during vet visits and the worst of the winter times. So their preference was to seek the minor variance at this time.
Okay. So my follow-up question is, let's just say they end up selling this new building lot to a new owner, and they're complaining about the, I guess, the odor, this through the MDS. Would that be a problem for township, or is like for the new owners?
Zach, do you want to pick that up?
Sure, through the chair, I can try to help answer that. Not necessarily, I'm not exactly sure the course of action if somebody did complain, but that is what MDS is trying to avoid, is
Okay.
these types of conflicts.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Paul?
Yeah, just a quick question. Actually, it's for my colleague, like Dennis might be able to answer this. Like if this barn, say if they ended up selling this property and somebody else moved in, they're able to put different types of animals in this barn?
No. They have the barn. I was out there today. The barn is set up with 5 large stalls. The stalls wouldn't take a heavy horse. They'd only take a medium horse and a foal. And I already run the numbers, and it equals the same as what Zach had. This 162. So I wouldn't be able to legally get a building permit to change it over to say to put 100 deals in there. So we're really dealing with low impact horses. I mean, horse manure is not like a poultry or intensive livestock. And looking at the diagram too, if we were to try to put a barn at the back, we would still have this 162 meter setback, and it probably is going to hit some of the houses on Maltby Road anyway. I don't even know where they would put that barn if they did try to move it. So
Yeah.
we probably have the best scenario that we have right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Dennis.
Dan?
No, everything's been asked. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Zach, in terms of this 162 meters, how many properties are affected by this? In other words, if the current owner sells the property with the barn and they want to expand the barn, how many properties would be able to voice concerns on this increase in size of the barn?
Yeah, through the chair. So if they did want to expand the barn, they would need MDS relief as well too, MDS2 relief through the building permit process. And then there would likely be the 7 existing properties plus this new 8th lot potentially.
Okay. Okay, I'm fine as well. I look at this as the MDS has already been affected by the existing properties. This new one doesn't do anything more greater than that. So what I'd like to do is then read the document for the decision document. In the matter section 45 of the Planning Act as amended and new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended, an application for a minor variance requesting permission to permit 1, a reduced MDS1 separation from a proposed new lot to be 47.9 meters to existing barn and 54.8 meters to the part of barn that contains 5 stalls for 5 Welsh ponies. 2, a reduced lot frontage for the proposed retained possible to be 109 meters instead of 120 meters as required. And the conditions are the approval of the minor variance of reduction for the MDS1 will only apply to a lot as shown on the survey dated March the 9th, 2021, and subject to approval of the proposed future severance. So we have 3 options, approved, opposed, or deferred. So we'll start with you, Dennis.
I approve.
Okay, we'll go to Deep.
I approve as well.
Dan, Paul,
I approve.
and Dan,
I approve.
and I approve as well. So this is subject to a 20-day appeal period. And we'll complete this item. Is there anything else I have to do on this one, Lynn?
No, there isn't right now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So let's move on to the agenda. Other matters? No other matters. We go to the adjournment of the Committee of Adjustment at 7:20. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move it.
Move, Paul, second.
I'll second it.
Deep, okay, so let's go around the table. Dennis,
Approved.
okay, Deep,
Approved.
Paul,
Approved.
Dan, I
Approved.
approve as well. So let's move into the Planning and Development Advisory Committee. We'll just do a roll call again. So we'll start with you, Dennis O'Connor,
Here, present.
Deep Bassi,
Present.
Paul Sedra,
Present.
Dan Kennedy,
Present.
and I, General Schools, am present as well. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, that we have a severance application and a lot line adjustment. So we'll go through the agenda. Approval of minutes of March the 9th, 2021. Do I have a mover? Dan, second. Deep, let's go around the table. Dennis,
Approved.
Deep,
Approved.
Paul,
Approved.
Dan,
Approved.
and I approve as well. So we have no application for site urban design review. We have no zoning and bylaw amendment, and we move into the land division. Let's get on, let's do this. Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No.
No, everybody says no. Okay, so let's go through that. Okay, so I'll read the land division item, lot line adjustment application B8-21, also known as D10/YZE. William Yezerman, part lots 13 and 14, concession Gore, municipally known as 6830 Gore Road, Township of Pussonge. Proposed lot line adjustment, 42-meter frontage by 60.96 meters, or 2,560 square meters. Part 3 on sketch, vacant land to be added to abutting rural residential lot. Carrera Korozwinski, part 2 on sketch, retained parcel of 71.7 hectares with 606.18 meters frontage, existing proposed agricultural use with existing house, barn, and shed. Okay, I'd like to note that the committee's mandate again is to provide comments only to the land division when it considers this matter for approval. Courtney, would you please have the agenda join the, have the agent join the panelist and present your application?
I believe it's Ms. Nancy Shoemaker again, and I can just put the sketch on the screen whenever we're ready.
Okay, great. So let's do that. Okay, Nancy, anytime you're ready.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Excuse me. The property owners of 6840 Gore Road. Now, this is that's the small parcel on the plan that's shown as part 2. They're new owners to this property, and they approached the farmer, Mr. Iserman, to see if he would consider providing some additional land to add to the property that they've acquired. And he was agreeable to do this. Now, we went out to the site. There is a farm entrance. There's a driveway to the house and barn, but there's also a farm entrance to the fields. And you can see it's just to the west or to the left of the new part 3. So we looked at the farm entrance, wanted to keep it with the farm operation, and he's proposing to then add to the owners of 6840 that part 3 parcel. You can see from the plan that it must have been quite a long time ago that part 2 was actually created, because it's nowhere near the bylaw requirements of 0.4. And so by adding this area to their lot, they're coming more into conformity with the official plan number of 0.4. I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Okay, Lynn, were there any agency comments received?
No, there were not.
Okay, Lynn, were there any other written comments received from the public?
No, we didn't receive any.
Okay, and if there's any attendees watching the here as part of the committee, and you have questions, then I would suggest you present those questions to the Land Division Committee. Okay, so let's go around the table, see if we have any questions from the members. So I'll start with Dennis O'Connor.
I'm okay with this one.
Okay, Deep Bassi,
I'm good, thank you.
Paul Sedra,
I'm okay as well.
Dan Kennedy,
No, I'm fine too.
and I'm fine as well. Lynn, is there anything that we want to say from a administrative point of view to the Land Division Committee?
We will have a condition that the applicant be responsible for the clearance fee. We won't need an entrance permit because it is a lot line adjustment.
Okay, and I'm going to suggest that we also have the motion that the committee supports this lot line adjustment. So do I have a mover for that? Dennis, second? Deep? Or Dan Kennedy? Great. Okay, so let's go around the table and get your concurrence or non-concurrence with respect to the two motions before us. So Dennis?
Approve.
Okay, Deep?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Dan?
Approve.
I approve as well. Good, thank you. Let's move on to the next item, severance application B9-21, also known as D10/DIO, Deodoro Enterprises Limited, Part Lot 15, Concession 9, municipally known as 7660 Maltby Road East, Township of Puslinch. Proposed severance is 0.827 hectares with 99.2 meter frontage, vacant land for a proposed rural residential use. Retained parcel is 45.89 hectares with 429 meters frontage, existing and proposed golf course and clubhouse with existing clubhouse and storage buildings. So with our Courtney, would you please have the agent or applicant join us and present the application?
Good evening again. It's Nancy Shoemaker. I'm representing the owners of Victoria Park Valley Golf Club. I think, excuse me, the members are probably very familiar with this. We've just been through an official plan amendment and zone change on this parcel. This piece of this property has been deemed surplus to the overall golf course operation. And it's the owner's intention to sever the parcel and for himself to build on this property so that he can be close to the golf course operation. The official plan amendment has been approved and is in place through the county, and the zoning bylaw to permit agricultural, to rezone this piece to agricultural has been approved by council as well. So this evening, we're seeking support to for the actual consent. This is the last piece in, save for the site plan in the process.
All right, Lynn, were there any agency or public comments received? If so, please read them.
No, we didn't receive any from either agencies or the public.
Okay, and if there's any attendees watching the hearing, I'd like to advise that you provide your comments or questions to the Land Division Committee. then let's go around the table and start with Dennis O'Connor. Do you have any questions or comments?
No question. We're gonna add the safe entrance permit, the standard clauses, right?
Lynn?
Yes, we are. We will have the entrance permit as well as the township's clearance fees. And also we will have just a condition that it's subject to the no appeal on the zoning bylaw amendment, which the appeal deadline is April 18th.
Okay, then I'm good.
Okay, Deep,
I'm good, thank you.
Paul,
I'm good as well.
Dan?
Same, I'm good as well.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest that we support, move a motion to support the seventh application. And Lynn, can you read the other comments out again that you're going to add in?
That the owner satisfy all requirements of the township of Puslinch, financial and otherwise, including taxes paid in full and consent review and condition clearance fee, cash in lieu, etc., which the township may deem to be necessary at the time of issuance of the certificate of consent for the property and orderly development of the subject lands. And then further, that the township of Puslinch file with the secretary treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance of this condition. The second one is that the owner obtain an approved entrance permit verifying safe access and sightlines on the retained parcel from the township of Puslinch. And further, that the township file with the secretary treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance of this condition. And that approval of the consent application is conditional on the applicant's zoning bylaw amendment not receiving any appeals. The deadline for any appeals is 4:30 p.m. on April 18th, 2021.
Okay, Courtney, you can kill the share screen so I can see everybody. Great, thank you. So I have a mover for the motions and Deep second. Dennis, okay, let's go around the table. Dennis,
In favor?
okay, Deep,
In favor.
Paul,
Favor.
Dan,
In favor.
and I am in favor as well. Okay, other matters. Lynn, do you and Zachary, do people want to talk about the item that's before the LPAT?
Certainly, I can speak to that. Just an update to the committee that the minor variance for 19 Visser Drive was appealed to the LPAT, and there is a one-day hearing scheduled for April 22nd.
Okay, this is the person who had the shed.
Correct. Yes. And then Zach will be providing you with an update on the changes to county planning staff.
Okay, go ahead, Zach.
Sorry, through the chair, Lynn, just to clarify, the April 22nd meeting, is it not a case management?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Did I say hearing?
Yeah, so it's just the
Yes.
start of the process.
Correct.
Yeah, so through the chair, I can give a brief update. So Megan Ferris has taken over Curtis's role as manager of planning, and I've stepped into Megan's role. There's been a retirement and leave at the county. So we're actually backfilling a new planner position as well too. So you'll see someone new in the next little bit that will come, but Megan and I will still be here supporting the township as well too.
Okay, I guess they're short staffed for the time being then.
Yeah, a little bit, but we do have a Savri who's our junior planner that started in January, and she's been a big help too.
Oh, that's good. All right. Okay, closed meeting. We do not have none. The next meeting is Tuesday, May the 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. And have somebody to move adjournment of the meeting at 7:34 p.m. Have the mover. Paul, seconder. Deep, okay, all in favor, let's go around the table. Dennis O'Connor,
In favor?
okay, Deep Bassi,
In favor.
Paul Sedra,
Favor.
and Kennedy,
In favor.
I'm in favor as well. All right, everybody, have a great evening.
You too.
Good night.
Good night.